Slyh, did it actually break? Is that so actually?
I think it did.
Oh my god!
I like how I'm in the middle of the intro, and then we just have to start this discussion because Slyh got. You know what? I don't even need the music for the start of the show. I don't even need. That's it. Music's done. We don't need it. That's the start of the show. Slyh. So before the show, before we even get started with the show,
Fucking idiot!
Slyh. I told Slyh I need some energy out of him, so he threw his headset, and it's broken. So he's all right. You guys will get to see that momentarily. We're just leaving that in. That's the show. All right. That's the start of the show. All right. So Slyh, luckily, I know where you can find a great replacement. If you could just type !Steel Series in the chat and use the discount code Mr. Happy 10. I can't. Oh, your microphone, by the way, is muted while you're at it.
Yo, I already have a replacement. I just gotta find it. It's in the other room.
Okay, good. All right. Well, now let's do an actual intro because we do have a podcast to do despite that. Here, I already closed the music. That's it. It's done. We're just going. All right. So we're gonna talk about Alphascape this week and compare it to the rest of the raid tiers in that. Although I don't think anyone even wants to talk about that anymore after the way this show started. I'm one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy Povo. Of course, joining me is Slyh, aka Slythefox, aka Slyh, aka Greyfox, aka Too Strong for His Own Good. How you doing, Slyh?
I'm okay.
I can tell you are okay. You know what? I'm never gonna ask you for the energy ever again.
Thank you. Don't.
Can you just leave
While
it
you're
like
doing that, I'll go ahead and get my replacement.
Okay. He's gonna no, that's fine. He can always show people if he really wants to. He's gonna go get a replacement headset while we do the rest of the intro. We of course, well, as you can tell, we brought on some guests as well as they joined me in some well-deserved laughter. We had him on last week, and I guess he was good enough to have him on again this week. We brought Ethys back to talk about some raiding because he's been streaming a lot of his raids. How are you doing, Ethys?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good.
You doing good?
I'm on a raid show.
There you go. Yeah, but that's because you've been streaming your raids. You've been moving through at a pretty good pace so far.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I guess.
And then we have Pugnificent himself, Fahros, who does things statikless as a samurai, going against the grain as much as humanly possible.
Hello.
Thanks
for having me on.
Well, thanks for joining us. Fahros joined us kind of last minute. I just asked him on my stream yesterday because we were originally going to do a Four Horsemen show. Mary was unavailable this evening, so Fahros was there. I'm like, "You want to do a show tomorrow?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want to do a show tomorrow."
Oh man,
hell yeah, I want to do a show tomorrow. You damn right. So thank you on short notice for coming on the show.
Oh, you're very welcome.
All right. So while we're waiting on Slyh, who's also been in a bit of a pug situation for the weekends when he actually has time available to himself, we're going to be talking about Alphascape Savage, and we're going to take kind of a different approach to the way we normally do the raid shows. Normally, we bring on someone who's either part of the World First, World Second, World Third team, somewhere in that vicinity, and discuss their first impressions. But I feel like a lot of us got some pretty solid impressions of the raid fairly early on. This raid tier, a lot of early prog, a lot of hours dedicated to it. And so I figured we could do something that's a little bit more of a casual approach to the show and less about the hardcore rating, which I feel like we've done that show a million times over. God bless the people who have come on the show in the past, but we want to do something a little bit different with this one. Sound good?
So what you're saying is we were going to bring on an expert, but there weren't any available.
No, I considered who I was going to invite, and I went, you know what? Let's try something a little bit different than we usually do, because that's kind of like a rehearsed show that we always do, and I feel like we can probably have some different discussions to that, as opposed to those State of the Realms are always like more almost interview based, like how was World First, and I guess there's only so many times you can really have that discussion, unless it's about Ultimate, where I feel like then it kind of becomes a really big ordeal. So I figure we can have a more laid back show. Everyone's got a pretty varied amount of experience here, and has different. I feel we'll have different inputs, so that's why we're going with this format of the show. In other words, I value you guys for coming on the show. That's what I'm trying to say.
I feel special.
Good. Good.
Well,
you're debatable.
I thought I was just a punching bag all this time.
It's all right. You punch back. That's why I like you.
Oh, okay.
There you go. I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it any other way, Ethys. Okay. Anyway,
you sadomasochist.
With that, this is the final raid tier of the expansion. To think about this is actually, in terms of talking about raid, this is technically the last show till the expansion regarding the raid scene.
Oh my god!
Think about that.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, it is. You got some more thoughts on that for us? How do you feel about this being the last raid tier?
I guess my opinions depend on when the next expansion's coming, which we'll probably know somewhat soon.
Let's assume June or July. Let's assume that, because that's on par with the previous 2 expansion launches, which were both in June.
Then it's expected. It's a really long tier, but it's really expected that it's going to be that way. You hope that things would keep progressing and they'd be able to do more over time, as the game gets bigger and better. But yeah, it's expected for now. I'm not disappointed.
Just on par. What about you, Ethys? How do you feel about being on the final raid tier? Feel free to throw in any lore aspects for yourself, since I know that your raid enjoyment is... your raid enjoyment seems to be somewhat tied to the story of Omega, even from the normal mode.
Yeah. Well, look, I think I was really concerned that we weren't going to get another Ultimate for the expansion, and I think that's been mitigated a little bit. Speaking to, the one first was a lot slower, and speaking to a lot of people that are in that tier, they seem to be like quite satisfied that progression was a bit more challenging and a bit more interesting this time around. So it's still a long time to go without any particularly hardcore content, but I feel like people are less frightened of that now than they were before Alphascape.
Okay, we'll get into talking about that a little bit, about the progression's sake of this raid tier versus the previous ones. Sly, what about you? I know your experience has also been very pug-focused, like Fahros has, though it's been kind of like on the off hours. So how are you approaching this last raid tier in regards to leading up to the next expansion? Sly? I don't think his headset's working.
He's not with us.
What? He's not above you on my screen. So I should have just kept the broken one in. There you go. Well, no, yeah, that's right. On the show itself. See, he's trying to, now he's muted and talking.
Yeah.
So now it's really.
I still can't hear you.
Okay, there you go. But you heard me say you were muted. Wait, no, okay. So he's working on that. So while Sly's working on that, this is never antagonize a man to show you energy.
Throw his headset
when he has a headset. Don't ever do. It was a wonderful start to the show.
Can we just talk about that? Because stream, y'all didn't see this, but we're looking at him when we're all laughing. This man, he started cheering when Happy was like, "Get some energy." He's like, "Yeah!" Takes his headset, throws it, puts it back on, and the earphone is dangling out on his shoulder. It's down here.
I'm gonna type something to Sly real quick, unless he can somehow hear us. Make sure you change your audio settings in Zoom 2. There you go. Oh man, that's gonna be a fun one. Okay, well we'll catch up with Sly when his audio does start working. we'll catch up to his thoughts when that's all together. So we started by talking about, I guess, how we're looking at Alphascape as a final raid tier, but I guess one thing we have to kind of do is talk about it compared to the previous non-ultimate raid tiers, because this expansion's been kind of a hot discussion regarding the difficulty of the Savage mode, which isn't really too savage for some people anymore. So how do we think Alphascape is rounding out after the previous 2 tiers?
So as far as this tier itself, I think it's amazing. I was just commenting on the schedule about being like as expected, but I think the tier itself, as far as how they concluded the story and the fights themselves, I think they were far above and beyond expectations. It's just the scheduling, like it lasting us until the end of the expansion, that I'm like just okay with. But the fights, man, I think they're more difficult than the last tiers. They're more engaging. They're more exciting. Everything. They're more flashy. They're more fun to watch. I think everything about them is better across the board.
What about you?
Are they really more difficult though? I mean, I think they're better fights. Like they're better designed. They're more fun. I think the difficulty in the world first prog was mostly just because the mechanics spew is a little bit kind of. It just takes a while to get your head around it and figure things out. But I think that once you have kind of figured out what's going on, it's not like substantially more difficult than previous tiers for the average player. I don't think.
I don't know. I just think you got to compare them like boss to boss, the last tier and the ones and even Deltascape. And I think if it's like pretty clear, they're more difficult when you do that. Like if you take Chaos and compare it to the Train and Alt-Right, he smokes them.
He smokes Alt-Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Midgard Stormer. You can't even compare him to Chatternuke. It's just not even fair. And then I think Omega is more difficult than Guardian. I think they're all more difficult.
I think Omega and Guardian are pretty similar fights in a lot of ways. I think they're comparable.
I think the big thing is with Guardian is he ended up being too slow. He's a 12.5-minute fight once you hit the enrage. I think that's kind of the big thing. Omega's pace is picked up a lot. So
Omega's such a fun fight. Oh my god, it's so good.
Whereas Guardian, especially as weeks went on with Guardian, when we found out it wasn't RNG, that much RNG behind his pattern, it took away a lot. And Omega doesn't really have any RNG other than Starboard Larboard, but it's still it still comes together almost in just a more cohesive manner. So I feel that way about most of the fights. 12 for me is debatable. I feel like all the final fights have been kind of iffy, other than I think Neo X-Death kind of for shock factor because he was the first final Savage boss of the expansion, probably won that. Although I was very impressed with Omega, the final Omega here, but it's just, I don't know. We'll talk about that when we get to the individual fights, but I do think that looking at 9, 10, 11, I think collectively they're more impressive than their counterparts from the previous tiers, and I think 12's a little bit up for debate about that one, personally. Okay. Yeah.
I've only done the Gatekeeper, the first half of 12.
Yeah.
I haven't beat that yet. I'm like 60% through it, I think.
It's like an 8-minute Gatekeeper though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's
That's insane.
Kefka was a 7-minute Gatekeeper.
What's Kefka 7 minutes?
Yeah, he was long. Neo regular XF was 4.5.
I know. Yeah, I know. Oh, welcome back, Slyh.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I thought he was like. Yeah, I thought he was like 6 minutes.
But I thought Omega M and F were way harder than X-Death normal and Kefka normal too.
I still think for me, X-Death I think figuring out M and F was a lot harder, but X-Death normal for me, I still think of the black holes. That's what
everybody says. I didn't think they were that bad.
Yeah, but we're melee DPS. We're not allowed to have opinions.
True. That's why I almost
we got
bad
4 melee DPS on this show that aren't allowed to have opinions about black holes.
Yeah, the healers and tanks of the world are just gonna rage at us listening to our opinions.
Yeah, not if we acknowledge that our viewpoint may be somewhat skewed.
Okay,
a little.
And just remind them that we remember to use feint,
and that we thank them for their contributions.
Yes.
All right, so Slyh, you're back. You can hear us now.
Yes, I can.
All right, excellent. Sorry for breaking your headset involuntarily by demanding you show me your energy. I apologize for that. With that, Slyh, we'll get you caught up a little bit. We've just been talking about comparing Alphascape to the previous raid tier and also talking about how we feel about it as kind of our last raid, because this will technically be our last raid show or our last, like, talking about current raids. Like, predicting the future raids is a whole nother topic, but at least in terms of hardcore content, this is the last thing that we'll really have until the expansion. So how do you feel so far about Alphascape as a finale to I guess the Omega series? And
I can only go off of what I've done, which is right now chaos and pugging, so it's a little bit different. I've seen pretty much everything in comparison to everything we've experienced. I mean, yeah, it's a good wrap up point. It doesn't feel because in Heaven's Word, I kind of feel like the final tier of Alexander kind of was a big letdown, and I guess with the I wouldn't say shock factor, but I guess fight factor or fun factor, it definitely didn't let me down, and especially chaos right now. pretty much almost done with the fight if I can just find a pug that wants to stay together for at least more than 5 pulls.
Or just get one that knows the fight and kill it in one shot. That's it.
Yeah, just get carried, Slyh.
No, I didn't say that. I just said find a good pug.
Yeah, so get
When the fuck do I...
I watch Slyh do chaos. Slyh does fine.
Yeah.
Slyh does fine in chaos. Yeah, it's weird. It's funny. It's funny you bring up creator because this has been a pretty big topic. Is comparing this raid tier all the way back to Alphascape doesn't really feel genuine enough. We really do have to go back to creator because that was the first raid tier where we had. I guess it was the first raid tier that was brought to this level of savage, I suppose, where it was supposed to be more approachable. We had the cooldown reset on wipe. We had a lot of quality of life that has happened there and has happened since. So I guess revisiting that, Fahros, do you have? I don't remember how much experience you have with creator because I think you were on a hiatus from 14 at the time. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So Ethys, how about you? Because I know you did creator.
Yeah, I smashed creator. The final fight of creator was so good. It was so much fun. But other than that, it wasn't super memorable, honestly.
You know what I remember about creator? Skipping lapis lazulis and never doing them in a lot of phase skipping, a lot of just outright ignoring entire phases in creator was probably the biggest problem. We don't have that here.
No, not so much. Although I think with this tier as well, there is going to be a bit of like with a bit of gear, it's going to make a lot of mechanics pretty arbitrary. Like last night when we did chaos, we skipped his whole like last couple of and that's basically the only place where people are having much trouble really.
Nice.
So I think there's going to be a lot of that. But no, there's not outright like skipping whole
ad phases like with Cruise Chaser.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just imagine this. No, because Cruise Chaser's designed in a dumb way because it was like he force pushed at like I don't know. I'm gonna just make up numbers. He force pushed at like 64, but if you got him to 62 before he actually jumped away, he just skipped his ad phase.
Yeah.
Like imagine if you pushed chaos to 50% before he brought the orb and he just skipped the orb in the middle of the room. It's like the equivalent of that.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Just design-wise. So I think that, for me, is kind of the big thing with Alphascape since creator, is you can clearly tell the design's a little bit more thought through, I guess. Even if we are going to make some things kind of trivial with more gear, that's fine. It's still... It's not like creator where that was happening on weeks 1 and 2. So,
well, I think it's actually, again, going back to chaos, I think it's a really clever way to design the fight because it makes it more difficult for prog, makes it more difficult for, the first couple of weeks. And then, with a bit of gear creep, a lot of the more casual groups are not even going to really see those mechanics. And makes it like easier for subsequent groups. And I think that's like a big theme of this tier is that it's like been super, super difficult for the people that are on the cutting edge having to work out the mechanics and stuff. But for people that have the advantage of being able to look at a guide or, have an extra couple of pieces of gear, it's not like it's a little bit more difficult than the previous tier, but not substantially.
Numerically, it's not tuned much harder. It's just more cryptic.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a really clever, design element going forwards because it seems to make it like more challenging for, world first tier, but not so much more challenging for everyone else that it sort of gates people in the way that Ultimate gates people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. Well, let's take a step back because not everyone does Savage. I like to do this for a little bit of fun because everyone's got funny stories when it comes to this. There's a normal mode to the raid.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, damn. Going full coil on this one. The one difficulty.
Right, okay.
One difficulty argument.
I wish.
You do? You wish we were still on one difficulty like coil?
I would. Man, yes. Yes. I almost said I would give anything. I don't wish that hard, but I wish there was only one difficulty. I'm upset that day one I finished the story. I got to see that cutscene, and I don't look forward to any narrative, any story, or anything already. Like from here on out, with Omega because I just stumbled through it week 1, didn't earn anything. It's just there. It was meant to be beat. That's sad to me.
I mean, but at the same time, if we ask for anything extra, people are going to ask for the extra shit too. So like, while we have like, if we add like, which wouldn't make sense to add anything extra onto Savage, but if we beg for it, but everybody else is going to beg for it too, and that's the position.
And then normal mode ends up being
exactly. Yeah. So
that's just entitlement in 2018, man. Somebody eventually has to stand up and say, we don't care. And that's how it was in ARR. They didn't care.
That's true. They did stand up and say that. Now, Slyh, I actually am pretty curious on this because you joined on the PS4 era. You know, you play on PC now, but you joined Final Fantasy 14 in the PS4 era. So you went through the coils. You went through all those. You know, I could find a clip of you getting your Dragoon weapon on turn 13. That was in the Dream Network video.
Yeah.
So you've experienced the one difficulty rate tiers. You've experienced the gating that experienced in Coil, where you had to beat turn 5 to get to 6 through 9, 9 to get to 10, 13. Even had to beat Titan to get into Coil in the first place. So,
that was a thing. Yeah.
With that experience, is there any particular reason that you really prefer this, or is it just kind of being neutral on the on normal and Savage mode versus one difficulty?
I mean, I'm kind of neutral about it now. I mean, personally speaking, I don't care what I'm there for the achievement. I mean, it's stories there good, yay. But like, I'm just there for the achievement.
You're there for the fight. You're there for the encounter.
Yeah, okay. I don't need frills.
You don't think you'd enjoy the journey significantly more? Like, it would be a huge motivator for you. It would be a huge reward to you when you finally got that fight dead. You don't think it would change?
I'm not gonna lie and say, like, when I saw the Louis Suave cutscene in Coral, I felt a little bit special. Like,
you had to, right?
I get to see that. I earned that shit.
So few people did.
I mean, now I'm gonna mare about it. I mean, yeah, the extra, final fight, the fight on top of like Omega and Neo X Death and God Kifca, all that. That's really what we go for, and I can accept that.
I think for me, when I experience things like Neo X Death, when I experience things like God Kefka, when I experience things like the second form of Omega and O12, it makes I don't necessarily wish we only had one difficulty, but I wish those were part of the story. I wish those encounters weren't just make believe. This happened only in your imagination or in a test scenario, and this was canon to the encounters in the story. That's the one thing. Because one of the biggest problems with normal mode, and I feel like this reigns especially true in Alphascape, where the final boss is this, it's this humanoid or humanoids version of Omega, is in all of the raid tiers, the normal mode final boss never actually felt like it was supposed to be the final boss. It always feels like a half-cocked fight when you do normal mode with only half of what you actually intended with Savage. So it's weird because I want two difficulties, but these encounters. This is why I've been an advocate for what someone used to suggest long ago, where Savage is kind of what is the default, and normal is the simulation in a sense for the people who can't do it, who want to get the story that way. I've always been in that boat, because then you can make the super crazy encounter at the end canon, and then keep something in normal and keep that boss in normal mode, because now you've already established it in Savage, then you can have the full experience in normal.
Yeah, so just have like 30 seconds of extra cutscene where it's like just for normal that you start with, like, okay, we're doing a simulation, y'all. And then when you do it on Savage, you get the real cutscene afterwards. How about that?
I mean, there is that approach. That still kind of creates an issue with people. Like, that'll create an issue with people who can't do Savage, in a sense.
Let's invert this for a sec. When we do the normal mode, right? According to the story, all these crazy, bosses that we're defeating, we have to do it by sort of nerfing them somehow. Like Omega, we have to use the lunar transmitter to act as like a jammer to interrupt his abilities or whatever. And it's like, The story makes very clear that it's only because of these special conditions or whatever that we're even able to survive. And like, there's no way that we could fight it at full power. And then we get an opportunity to fight it at full power. Like, all right, let's just, for the sake of just being crazy, if you're feeling super masochistic, let's run a scenario where you fight this thing at full power and see how you deal. And like, for players, it's super satisfying to be like, fuck yeah, I can do that. You know what I mean? When we're talking about, the way we fight things canonically, I think that's, I think that's just the other side of it.
But here's the reality side of it though. Mm-hmm. You were hyping up the Omega weapon, and then you hit Q duty, and you get thrown in with 7 idiots, and you're like, oh, okay, we wiped for 45 minutes because the people put the fire all around them. Okay, eventually we killed Omega weapon with 7 people from the duty finder, y'all. Okay, let's go travel through space and whatever. That doesn't feel right at all.
But we didn't kill Omega Weapon with 7 people from the duty finder. We killed Omega Weapon by Sid working his ass off to create some kind of OP Chekhov's gun that fucking nerfs the shit out of it. and then we get to see what happens if he hadn't done that. And it's like, oh wow, oh damn, could we have done this by ourselves? And the people that are doing Savage and are progging through it get to be like, yeah, fuck yeah, I could have done it. I don't need you, Sid. Fuck off.
Let's just play Sid in 5.0. Why are we even playing us? Let's just play Sid.
That's what the role-playing feature's for.
Exactly. We probably will play Sid in 5.0.
He can be the machinist with the gunblade.
Probably will. Yeah.
He can be the machinist with the gunblade that we talked about last time.
And the problem is, like, if you made the normal mode, the non-canonical simulated one, like, how would that work?
I don't know. I didn't write the story. I'm just
saying,
make it work.
Would it be like if you fail Savage, it's like, you lose, the world's been destroyed. But here, let us create a simulation for you so you can see what would have happened if you didn't.
So the way I like to look at it is, WoW in recent expansions, they kind of just make it. It's all whatever. Like they'll give even when they do give an extra form, it all ties the story together. It's kind of just the way to choose to experience your story. In a sense, more so than you failed and now go do the easier version.
Look, I think the canonical version of the fight is the version that you choose to do.
There you go.
Does that make sense? Like you as the warrior of light, you're the only warrior of light. Forget about the other players. What they're doing, that doesn't fucking matter. That doesn't affect your experience whatsoever. If
really?
You defeat Savage Omega, then guess what? You did that. That's the canonical version of that experience for you. So you could have done it like a little bitch and made Sid nerf it for you, or you can be like, no, I don't need that. I'm gonna do Savage, right?
But I have to do normal first.
If you don't want to do Crystal Tower never happened in the story. If you don't want to do Coil, then guess what? Bahamut's still down there somewhere fucking up with the ether. Like it's literally just what you choose to do as a player that becomes, the canonical version.
I see where you're going with this, but the point is we have to do normal first and we get the cutscene and we either hit skip or don't.
Yeah.
Like I could save the cutscene until I beat Savage.
You
can't because you'd have to beat it, then go to your inn, then watch it.
Yeah, and it's just it just doesn't feel real.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, look, doing Coil it felt so satisfying. Getting those cutscenes and getting that story in the way that you did, it felt super, super rewarding. Yeah. But the thing is, like, I don't think it works as a motivator. I don't think that people who are not going to do Savage otherwise are suddenly going to pick up and complete Savage just for that. Like, you've either got the grit to do it and the time to do it and the energy to do it, or you don't. And if you don't, you're going to be mad. And if you do, then you're going to get this, fleeting arbitrary satisfaction from getting this story. And then it's like, it's whatever. It's not the reason that you're doing it. You're doing it because you want a challenging fight, surely.
That's why I do Savage. I just wish that when I just wish stuff like Neo X. Then again, why would I even wish with Neo X Death is canon? The whole fucking fight's not canon. That was what annoyed me so much about Omega in the first place. It's like we did it, but it was irrelevant. That
was the cool thing about this tier, right? And the reason this tier had so much more impact for me is because like even the Midgard Zorma fight, it's simulated, but it's real. It's like this is something from Omega's memory. It's like, okay, so I fought Midgard Zorma back in the day, and he beat me, and this is what it was. This is what it was like. This is what I was facing. That was really cool.
This was the least upsetting Omega tier for me, but I still wasn't entirely satisfied with it. It took way too long to get to the point where I was fighting Omega 3 fucking times back to back.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
There you go. All right, so now that we've got that heated topic off the top of our heads.
I don't know if we have.
Have we?
I don't know. Sly, you have anything to add? Sly's indifferent.
No,
Sly's like, y'all enjoy your lives.
Yeah, y'all enjoy that shit. I'm just there. I'm just there so I don't get fined. I'm just here so I don't get fined. That's it.
There you go.
All right. Okay.
I'd be okay with unlocking Savage without doing normal and just getting the same cutscenes. I'd be okay with that.
That would be cool.
I'd be able to skip normal. That would be nice. That might be a solution.
Yeah, I would be okay with that. I see that pop up in the chat a few times. As long as everyone's happy, that's all that matters. I'm happy, but regardless. Okay, so I can already tell Fahros had some hilarious normal mode stories. Anyone else have any? Because he apparently had an experience with 011 normal. He's like, you go in, you wipe for 45 minutes. Like he was playing
really?
out the
45 minutes.
He went. The duty recorder was like playing in his head. It was like reparsing the whole fight, and it was just playing again.
It's just. I mean, I don't know if you guys just bought Crafted and just did normal once and that was it, or if you went back and started trying to farm it with other people or, whatever, but I did it a few times. And yeah, like I was trying to get my wife a clear on 012 normal, and we went through a few groups, man. Like you'd really be surprised how many people struggle on 012 normal. Like we went through a few lockouts. It was horrific. I didn't get that bad of luck myself, but it was horrible. And it was the same thing on 011. Some people just dropped fire all around Omega and then got nowhere to go for starboard, larboard. And then it's like, okay, well, we're dead. That's it. And it's that just being that's what I was bringing up earlier. That just being like the storyline experience just feels like a joke.
Hey, man, that's the epic experience because you're the warrior of light carrying seven adventures through. There you go. Right. That's as canon as it gets.
Okay.
No, I just still refer to it as the people debuff.
I love the people debuff.
The people.
No, that's in 4 though. We don't really worry about the people debuff till 4.5 now. That's where we worry about the people debuff again.
Is it not kind of nice that the normal modes do feel a little bit more challenging, a little bit less of a face roll?
They're challenging for the wrong reasons, but it's pretty hilarious
because they have mechanics and people are dumb rather than them actually being challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I get that. But I don't know, I've been hearing like from so many people saying, wow, the normal modes are actually kind of fun this time around. And I've been doing them every week as well, and they are kind of fun.
Midas was the last normal mode I actually liked. I will say that. Because Brute Justice on normal and even A6 on normal, with it just being not a permanent gauntlet, you could die on one of them and go back to where you were. I don't know. That's the last time I guess I enjoyed a normal mode. And this one I did enjoy, but it was still hilarious for the wrong reasons. Best thing is the first time you get to Omega F in the duty, like no one's seen it before, and then they're just like, whoop, yeah, right off. And you're like, thanks, game. Thanks for letting me know that was going to happen. Okay. So anyway, we got our normal mode stories. Sounds like we all have some to some degree. So now
I'm sure it's the same thing for all of us.
JP, dude, elemental, like things go smoothly in DF.
And why?
Wonder, I don't. I never wonder why.
So yeah, I mean, things work inversely on the JP data centers, where you go on Party Finder to learn, and then when you're confident that you know the fight and that you're going to clear, you go in Duty Finder.
I wish that was how it was here. That makes so much more sense to me.
It does make more sense, doesn't it? But yeah, that's how it works. If people are going into a fight for the first time and they're worried that they don't know what they're doing and they don't want to like inconvenience other people, they make a Party Finder group.
I like Aqua. Don't even fucking lie, Ethys. People are shit on element.
Well, so if every party that Aqua goes into, he finds his shit.
Uh-oh.
I wonder what the common denominator is.
Uh-oh.
Damn. All right.
Shot.
No, it's true. Things are not completely seamless in JP Duty Finder, but they're a lot smoother than they are in NA.
Are they on Duty Finder? Do you find it's a lot more, receptive to people like, doing a learning party? Not like North America where we're filthy fucking degens and you watch a video, don't join. Three strikes equals kick.
Oh, in Party Finder?
Yeah.
Some of it, but there's a lot more learning parties. It's just mostly JP only. Basically, that's the only problem that we have with our Party Finder.
Hey,
but I mean, like, so Suzaku, right? I make a PF saying, clear farm party, and we spend 40 minutes wiping and fucking disband, and then I go in solo in Duty Finder, and I get like 5 clears in a row, and I'm like, why do I fucking bother?
That sounds cool.
Does sound good.
Yeah, it's great.
How bad are the queues?
Like 2 minutes.
See, so that's what everyone in NA says. Oh, well, the problem is the queues. That's why we
bullshit,
we do Party Finder so we can consistently re-queue and farm, and 8 people just queue over and over and over. But you're telling me you could just 2-minute queue at a time, pop, pop, pop. Everyone's killing anyone.
But doesn't it happen even in NA when you Party Finder, right?
Someone leaves and
Isn't
they
it
get
like
the
you
dog?
go in there, you do 3 wipes and someone rage quits, and then you go back and PF for another 15.
Yeah, but the problem is that also happens in the Duty Finder, but you'll wait 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Or in the Raid Finder, I guess, because it's the most recent.
But he's saying he only waits 2 minutes.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I wish it was like that here. That sounds better. And then people couldn't lock my job out.
That's what it's really about, huh?
No, it's about both things, but that's part of it.
It's a big part of it.
It's half of it.
That's a big part. That's a significant portion.
50%.
If it was 51, it would be majority. Oh my god. Anyway, so with that, we can now move into talking about the Savage encounters overall. And we already started kind of comparing them to the other tiers, like 1 versus 5 versus 9. So we have Chaos versus Phantom Train versus, we shouldn't even bring up 01 Savage because it's not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although
I really
Chaos
like Phantom
is not
Train.
that hard.
He's not.
Phantom Train's fun.
Phantom Train, but then Warrior happened on Phantom Train.
Yeah.
That was happening.
And then it just
real
became more of a chore than anything, in my opinion.
Yes, Fahros.
I just went there just to do it.
Yo, man, can you do the skip? I'm trying to parse.
And then the Warrior doesn't have inner release. He's like, fuck me, right? It's like, I'm so glad I used inner release on the Ghost, and now I can't use it on the boss while everyone else is bursting it. I'm so excited. They're like, Red Mage, you go do it. Send the Red Mage in. I'm tired of this shit.
Yep.
Red Mage can do it.
Red Mage skip, Dark Knight skip, Ninja skip. I've seen a few things.
I would not want to do that. I mean, I know what I'd have to do it on Ninja. I wouldn't want to, and I couldn't do it on Monk. Or I wouldn't want to. Melee with LB1 can do it too, yeah. Oh my goodness, those days. Yeah. For me, it was pretty close because I really like Phantom Train as a first fight. I feel like Phantom Train, if anything, should have been the second fight in the last tier.
Definitely.
But Chaos, I think it's just how smart it's designed from a progression standpoint. You see the whole fight in the first phase with enough pulls, and then it's how well can you do all of those things plus the 2 extra. So it's just it's progression friendly but not unfun.
And we haven't had anything in terms of a fight with that level of randomness, have we?
Well, there's Guardian. I'd say Guardian is
Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because Guardian's pretty much you get 1 of 2 patterns for the whole fight, and Chaos is the same way. You get 1 of 2 patterns for the whole fight, but it's the same front to back no matter what.
Right.
It is nice that like you get to 60% a couple of times and then suddenly you realize you're basically seeing the whole fight. And it's like, Great.
That'll come up again when we talk about 012, but yeah.
That's cool for our first fight.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's too much discussion to be had about Chaos. He's not too cryptic. He's pretty straightforward. Although I'm not gonna lie, powered through those debuffs on the first week without knowing what half of them did. The wind debuff, we didn't dispel any of the wind debuffs on the orb phase. We just had the tanks and the healers just ate shit.
All right, that's what I'm still doing.
You can just brute force it. You can, It's not efficient, but
it was pretty funny. And then we still almost we had to do the enrage towards the end, but it was pretty funny on week 1. Sly, you'll I'm assuming the party finders are fine doing that part now, Sly.
Oh, absolutely. It's just we can't do simple shit.
What are some simple things that people can't do on Chaos, Sly? Give me some experience here, because you do the Waffle House raids, so we don't get to see how your Waffle House raids go.
I actually haven't been doing a lot of Waffle House. I'll do actual reasonable time raids, but still,
I've been doing Waffle House raids.
I get the parties who we don't pull for about 10 minutes and we discuss everything because people have seen videos. It's past that point already, and we pull and people are still in the wrong spots and people are forgetting to die or get hit with lethal. So yeah, it's the simple things. It's like I find that people really don't fuck up the important mechanics. I mean, every mechanic is important, but it's the small things that we fuck up, I think.
You know what I would suspect the party finder would struggle with the most? People remembering which direction to face for the wind and getting knocked off the side. That's what I would think the party finder would fuck up the most.
Actually.
Yeah, surprisingly not. That was real big day 1, but a few days in, I haven't seen that yet.
What about Blaze? Did the people ever forget to stand away and blow everyone away with the fire?
The party finder's really been good on Chaos. I've almost killed that in 2 or 3 pulls the last 2 weeks. But on Midgard Stormer, that's a whole different story.
Oh yeah, Sly, I think you're gonna have. I actually think Midgard Stormer is the hardest fight to pug in the whole tier. I think it's harder than 012 to do with completely random people. I trust people the least with Midgard Stormer, I feel. So you're gonna have a fun time.
You trust them more. You trust them more with 11 than you do with Midgard Stormer.
People can fuck you more in Midgard Stormer.
They can fuck you pretty hard in Midgard Stormer.
Yeah, they can.
It's probably just my own personal bias, but I would be more afraid to pug 010 than 011 in all personal preference. Especially because with Midgard Stormer, we have a second fight, and again, we're gonna quickly compare Catastrophe and Chatternook. Chatternook's the alt-roit of this conversation. He can't win. Unless you're a melee DPS and you just love having a huge dick, then you can kind of... Yeah, see, we're all melee DPS, so this is where the bias comes in.
I love Chatternook.
Chatternook's my favorite fight. What are you talking about?
100%
it's good for us numbers-wise.
I'm a melee DPS, and even I'm not going to say that. Because I know I know both I know how many tanks have been like, you know what, fuck that fight. You know how many times I've gotten auto-attacked by the one that's halfway across the room and died? I know they don't share that.
Best designed fight in the game.
I don't.
100% uptime.
Yeah, I get covered by a paladin, so I don't have to run away. And then,
the dream.
Well, here's what happens. Me and the other melee, we would slash random, and whoever wins gets it for the pull.
Yeah.
Or whoever was just doing more DPS. So because I was monk and he was Dragoon, I kind of just had
whoever calls it. Whoever calls it first.
I thought of it first, so it's
on a dib system.
Yeah. No, when it comes up, when that mechanic's coming up, just whoever's got it is like, it's mine.
Well, it's up to the paladin, really. That's the fun game. The paladin will make you wait till the very last. He'll be like, "Oh, which one am I gonna give it? Oh no, it's about to hit. You guys better make up your mind. What's going on?" And then he gives it to the other one, and one of us dies. Sad face. It's okay. It's never happened to me. I don't think. I'm sure it's happened once. All right, so Chatternook's our alt-roit. Despite us being 4 melee DPS, we have to acknowledge he is not the best fight of the 3.
It's the worst fight of the expansion.
No, Alt-Roy's the worst fight of the expansion. Byakko might be the worst fight of the expansion.
Byakko is the worst fight.
Lexxie might be the worst fight of the expansion. One of those three. I wouldn't give it to Chatternook.
No.
I think he's the most disgraceful.
The most
disgraceful?
What's so disgraceful about it?
He's just so bad.
Would you like to elaborate a little bit?
No, he's the Patchwork. We all already said it.
Patchwork's legendary. Dude, Patchwork was more threatening than Chatternook is. Patchwork at least he dicked your tank every 1.2 seconds.
Chatternook just dicks your off tank the whole time.
He dicks both your tanks. Yeah, the off tank gets pretty dicked the whole time.
That fight's pathetic.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, he's doing his best. You don't need to make it personal.
His best sucks. His best is terrible. Okay.
Oh my god.
The difficulty jump from him to Guardian is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty substantial.
Yeah.
The jump from him to Guardian. And Guardian is it's just such a slow fight, but we'll talk about him in a second. And then we have Catastrophe as well, who I actually really liked as a second fight overall. But Midgard Stormer has one distinct advantage over him. No fucking duty action.
What do you have against duty actions? I need to understand this, because you have been pretty vocal about duty actions. What's the issue?
So here's the thing: when you're doing an encounter, when you're preparing for a raid tier, you prepare your skill as a player, your preparation, your interpretation of mechanics. There's this one thing you'll learn that will never be applicable for the rest of your experience in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just wasted knowledge, it feels like.
It's
not interesting enough. It's not interesting enough for me to like. It's kind of like you with the Gobwalkers. When have you ever needed to be able to do that ever again? You had to learn that just for that fight. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also just not par for the course with what you're used to experiencing.
But it adds, I don't know. I think, and I really think it's a bad comparison between Godwalkers. I just fucking hated that thing. It was a mechanic for that fight alone. As far as making it interesting.
That's the thing. I just don't think any of the duty actions have been interesting enough for me to go, great. I think of Lakshmi and Vril. Great. Every time she hits me, I'll Vril. Cool.
Do you expect it to be a lot more complex? Because the duty action in itself is simple. It's one button. You use it for a mechanic or a couple of mechanics. That's it. Shouldn't be anything too difficult or too extravagant outside of that.
I'd rather the boss just do something that involves handling it right without the button, because it's an extra button for the sake of having an extra button. Omega proves that this raid tier, they clearly didn't need a duty action, so they just fucking don't. They're just just don't design it like that.
So would you lump duty actions and active time events in the same breath and say that they're not needed?
Both are pretty underwhelming. Everywhere there's been an ATE, it's so dumb and mindless. I don't know why you even make me do it.
Mm-hmm.
They're worse.
It's just cinematic.
It is. It's cinematic. And it's for people who like to get up and go get a drink in the middle of a 45-second fucking transition phase. Nope. It's like when Resident Evil, when you're like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy the cuts. Oh shit! It's like that for the first time you do something.
Look, I think there's a big difference between the Gobwalkers and then again Chatternook, a pretty unobtrusive way to do duty actions. But you're right that in Chatternook you could just have that be movement based. You don't have to have a button there really.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think they're interesting. If they can do more interesting things with them, I'll like duty actions. I don't like them the way they are.
Seems
now.
like they conceived them because they wanted to do more interesting things with them, and then they just couldn't think of any interesting things to do.
So they just got rid of them in Savage's tier altogether. There's a reason there's none in Savage's tier, because they realized a wall of fists and pressing a button over and over again
not satisfying.
Center of the room was not good. So they're just well, then just don't do it in Savage. Yeah. And then on top,
make more interesting
they're so great. We'll get 2 of them in Pyros.
Mm. Well, maybe they're all right in normal mode stuff and like, lower tier stuff precisely because it is more cinematic and, it might be satisfying for like casual play or whatever. Yeah. But they don't seem to belong in Savage.
And seems for once, Feldman team agrees. Thank you. So happy zoning in there, and I didn't see the button. You don't know how pleased I was. But anyway, so Midgard's armor. Now that we've spoken about how he has no duty action.
Oh god, he's such a bitch for melee.
Is he? I don't know. He's so big. I never have to go very far to hit.
For Sam, it's not that bad. That's the one fight my little backstep ability feels the absolute best because I can do it during the ice, my NP off, dash back in, and I don't even slip and slide around if my combos line up right. It feels really nice.
What's your problem? What's your problem with melee with the Ethys?
I just lose a lot of positionals with the positions I have to take for mechanics.
I actually choose positions that screw me a little bit, but we didn't have to do it that way. It just ended up being that way. Like I was going to the front of the boss for the cross and the X instead of doing the rear and the flank. That was my choice. We just week one made those positions and never changed them.
Yuck.
Yeah. So, but even then, that's what True North is for.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that bad if you're on a south flank, and then you can pre-position where you're going to be for your next combo as you know the ice is coming. So you're just like, and you're on the inside, and then if it's the inside, you don't even have to move. You're getting your positional, and if you go outside, you just slide out or backstep, and you're good to go.
So your little jump back feels good in MIDI. How does it feel in that ad phase in
Omega?
In Omega, huh?
Wait, which one?
I don't think they jump back as far as Red Mages.
The level checker.
I'm pretty sure it's a shorter jump.
Or is it just displacement that screws you?
No, we don't jump back into the field, so I can do it on the point blank AoE on level checker after the third tower.
So it's literally only Red Mage that gets fucked there.
I don't know how far does elusive jump take you. It's an honest question.
Elusive jump takes you way further than displacement.
Well, then you can't use that shit either.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, as a monk, I only go forward, so I would never know.
Yeah.
I go from where I am forward.
I think Midgard's armor. I don't have any complaints from that of a melee. It's just, it's kind of rough to go through the party finder. People mess up, if it's something you're not on comms with them, they have to be responsible for the ins or outs or the corner cardinal, and people just mess it up a lot. And people mess up Exaflare, ice, Akmorn stack.
It's that and I actually would fear the bulwark more than Akmorn Exaflare.
And people are doing that 3 different ways still.
There's a lot of ways to do it. Is kind of why I kind of like this tier altogether. I've seen so many different groups approach everything so many different ways, whether it be Chaos's Orb phase or Midgard's Armor's Bulwarks with the Spyro versus not Spyro versus literally treating it like Nidhogg with no different, which is what I'm used to doing. We do that as if it was Nidhogg and no different, except we make sure the Bulwark person gets a tether and that they face him towards just the corner. So I don't know. I like that it works all those different ways. For the party finder, it's got to be terrible.
Yeah, I feel like you need the party leader to go in, slap down a few markers, and say, "This is how we're doing it. I know it works 3 different ways, but this is it."
Just need a macro. Just do it JP way. As soon as you get in there, you put the macro. People elect D1, 2, 3, 4, and where you go.
Yeah, that works. I think it's a good fight, though. I think his difficulty is right where it should be for the second fight, and I think Chaos is.
I agree.
I'm really happy with the difficulty this tier. I know we already talked about it, but I think it's perfect. Even though it's annoying to party finder.
Sly's here and how annoying we think it's going to be for the party finder forever, and he's just like, "Thanks, guys. That makes my Waffle House raid feel."
Well, just make that macro Ethys is talking about.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too bad.
And say Discord required, and you tell them what's.
Well, the whole point of the macro in JP is so you don't need voice comms.
Yeah. Exactly. So you just go in and do it, and everyone knows what they're expected to do.
Someone I used to raid with, Keo. He always had. Was it him? I think it was him who had JP macros. They called them. He would literally grab whatever was normal off of the party finder in Japan, and he would just do it.
It becomes homogenized on Party Finder and Duty Finder for like every fight here after a couple of weeks, where like people kind of recognize which macro is working best, and they all just copy the same macro. You go in, it'll like mark D1 through 4, and then H1, H2, MT, OT, and have a couple of different diagrams. And you literally just like, as soon as you go in, you just say, all right, D2, D1, whatever you want to be in chat, and just follow the patterns. And it's the simplest way to do pugging stuff, honestly.
Everything in JP data centers is better. It's all better.
Not everything. Not everything.
Tell me what's worse, other than the fact that you're Australian and they don't want you.
Exactly. That. Yeah. just that.
Wow.
Yeah. JP only. Yeah.
There you go. Listen, Australia got world 4th. Maybe you get your own data center. Maybe that's the catalyst.
Australia got world 4th, but region 1st. We got before any Japanese groups.
Yo.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah, bro. I mean, we like I did it personally.
You're a part of that, Ethys.
It wasn't even an Australian group. There are a couple of I think there was a Malaysian and a Singaporean in that group. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but it was mostly Australian. Yeah, and I'm responsible for it. It was all me.
Is Slyh responsible for the primal first clear wall?
No.
Sure. Yeah. No. Sure. Yeah. Definitely. Absolutely.
I mean, you might as well make Aros responsible. He's on primal as well.
Yeah. Well done, you guys. Good job.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Good job, Fahros.
I appreciate it.
Good job. I'm proud of you. Love you.
Like how Slyh was immediately trying to like just no, it's not me. It's no. I don't want my name to be affiliated.
I am nowhere near that. No.
That's it. Slyh, you'll be all right, Slyh. You'll be all right. You'll be okay. You'll be okay in O10 Savage. How much have you seen of it? Like I don't know how much you've seen of the fights you haven't done yet. Like how much you've gone out of your way to research for Savage, for Alphascape.
For Midgard's armor?
For any of them. I don't know how far you've looked into the future.
I've looked. Like it's the final tier. I just don't give a fuck. I just want to get my clear and come back at a later time and then farm. Because again, once I get my clear, I'm done. See you in I don't know
5.0. Oh yeah, for 4.5, yeah. Okay. Well,
yeah. I mean not necessarily for 4.5, but just to come back and now start farming weapons and gear and everything. Now like first clear, it's just first clear. I can say I did it.
Makes sense. I had a friend who was planning on doing the same. He unfortunately life circumstances didn't allow him to do it earlier prog, but he pretty much said, I just want to kill it once. Because then I'll know I'll have beaten it and that's it. There's no ultimate, so I don't need to worry about. I don't need to worry about anything after that. So it makes sense.
The gear only helps you kill it faster next time.
Hey, it's gonna be great leveling gear for 4 levels. Just like all those Eureka relics everyone's working on.
My bad. You're right. It's good leveling gear too.
Yeah, good level. 10 out of 10 leveling gear. All right, awesome. Yeah. Then we move on to Omega himself. 011. And I think for me, that of the non-ultimates, this is a favorite across all 12 of the Omega fights. Not even just compared to Halicarnassus and Guardian, which I think I think personally, after all this time, Guardian's kind of at the bottom for me. I like Halicarnassus more than Guardian because it's not as boring.
Yeah.
And I put Omega way above that. All that. Way above.
Say he's your favorite out of all 12?
Yeah.
Or he's one of your favorites?
No, he is my favorite out of all 12.
011. Savage. Yeah, he's up there. I don't know if I could say he's my favorite. Even out of like Neo X Death.
I like Neo X. Neo X is the best transition, but I think that's also just a little bit of red rose tinted glasses because he was the first Savage transformation we had, and like the first time they really did that. I guess you could count Wing Justice. Wing Justice wasn't a checkpoint in a whole nother fight though, so like Neo X Death is kind of the best transition for me, and also it wasn't as annoying because X Death was only 4.5 minutes as opposed to the 7 and 8 minutes of Kifca and Omega MNF. So I don't know. Something about this fight we'll talk about a little bit. It culminates into what feels like a final encounter, but it's not the final encounter. It felt right. I don't know if you share this. You beat it in the Party Finder, Fahros. How was that?
That's insane.
It was good. I had someone who did his homework and got us all on comms and walked through. Like, it felt like a static, even though it was from the Party Finder. And it was a lot of people met up, like, for real, strong leadership in the Party Finder. Like, I was joking about it kind of earlier, but it's a big deal because you don't find very much of it. And then if you do a really good job, like a static raid leader would, people are like, oh shit, this guy's the real deal. Oh, you're doing a 11 tomorrow? Okay, I'm free. I'll be there. And it's like 5 of the guys we did 10 with. So they show up for 11. We take 3 new ones, and we progged it over 3-4 days. But we still got it down week 1, so it felt awesome. Yeah, and the fight was great. The music was great. I know we've all had our
Slyh, don't do it, Slyh. I know what you're thinking. I actually looked up the fan lyrics, and there's some pretty decent transcriptions.
No, Slyh, I'm glad I have you here. I went into Happy Stream. I go, man, I really like this song, but what are the lyrics? He said, you got to ask Slyh.
I regret that decision now.
Do you are you sure about this?
Courtney
are you sure about this, Fahros?
She told me it was about chicken tendies and burgers and fries.
That's half true. Yeah.
And
I guess you could say that.
And it's White Castle time.
What?
That's what Courtney said.
Oh my god.
Chicken tendies.
Basically, okay, Fahros, basically you make up your own lyrics to the song because you don't know what the hell he's saying.
What are yours?
I got some chicken.
No, you gotta if you're gonna say it, you gotta say it as if you're singing the song.
Why?
Because we all hear it in our heads anyway, so you gotta do it out loud.
Come on, Slyh. Give us that energy, y'all. The energy that broke the headset.
Don't give us that energy.
Damn it. I got some chicken.
I'm ready to fry.
I got some burgers. I need some fries.
Oh my god.
You want to know what the actual lyrics are there? Or like what people have transcribed?
No, we don't want to know what the actual lyrics are. Fuck no.
See, at one point it says ancient echoes, but I hear ancient egg rolls.
Oh, I heard ancient dildos.
I know, you told me today. He came into my stream and he typed his version of the words of the lyrics.
Yeah.
All of us are hungry for chicken.
Safe for work.
Yeah, and then Ethys got dildos on the mind. He's been on Instagram watching that Bowsette shit. That's why he's all into it.
Oh.
I helped write the lyrics. Every tier, Soken gives me a call and he's like, "Look, I've done the arrangements, but like I'm really struggling with some lyrics. Can you help me out here? I know you're a really good lyricist." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I got you."
Okay.
Every tier, yeah.
Every tier.
It's really
So it's canon that dildos are part of the song, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I can't, give away the rest of it, but I'm pretty sure I can say that.
Sometimes the community team watches this show.
I know. Yeah.
And I just want to imagine that, like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I on NDA there? Is that too much information? My collaboration.
Yeah. You're breaking NDA right now. That's clearly what I was hinting at. Yeah, you're breaking NDA because now everyone knows you're going to sing it at FanFest on stage too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, of course. Right. Then we're all going to record it, even though it's not going on. It's not going to be on Twitch. That's why, because they don't want anyone else to know. Only we can know. Thanks for that, Slyh and Ethys. Thanks. I'm so.
You asked.
No, he asked because I told him to, which was my mistake. This was my fault. I will not deny that.
This is your fault.
I
so now back to the fight. Now back to the actual fight.
Happy. What makes it the best fight out of all 12 for you?
For one, it breaks one of the major conventions they established across all of Omega, in that the second half of the fight is a slightly harder version of the first half of the fight. Omega literally flows as a fight that evolves the whole time, which is literally on course with what Omega is trying to accomplish. That's the biggest thing for me. When he does Flamethrower the first time, it's normal. Second time, he's got a Fire AoE with it. Third time, it's got a Fire AoE plus a dot on it. Like, it's just evolving like he is the whole fight. First Pantocrator is one way. Second Pantocrator evolves, takes some of the same things, does them different, does them improved. Like, it's very Omega, and it feels like you're actually
personification of Omega.
It's a perfect personification of Omega. Is the big thing. He actually is evolving the whole time, and he's letting you know how he's evolving in the little chat bubbles the whole time.
Yeah,
it's just it just works for me. It just works for me. And all the mechanics, none of them are boring. The only one that doesn't make any sense to me is Charybdis at the end. It's just kind of random.
Yeah, it's so random.
He was just like, I guess some of the other bosses in all my raids use this, so I guess I will too.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing. But even then, like, I still get why they did it. It's just really out of place, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's true. I never really thought about it like that until you phrased it like that. But even the gloves, it starts blue and yellow, and then they're all red. And then you got to figure out how to handle the gloves the second time. And then there's big gloves.
Yeah, he's got small gloves and big gloves. He's like, well, when I did the small gloves the first time, I gave them a damage buff, so I'm never doing that again.
Right.
Which also makes Livewire kind of feel out of place, but he just learns to never do that again, pretty much.
That's the only part of the fight I don't like.
What? Because why? Why don't you don't like 10% damage buff? What's wrong?
No, I don't like when I don't get it.
Do you know what?
When do you not get it?
Ethys, this is crazy, dude. We're progging this for 3-4 days, like I said. So we're experimenting with different patterns, like who moves to who.
You just move to the melee. Melee, you sit there and you wait for them to deliver it to you and take your buff. It's great.
But when my red mage gets paired with me and comes to me and stands in the circle with me.
Oh, he steals it from you?
It went to him every time.
Oh, what a piece of shit.
I'm talking 95% of the time.
Oh, come on.
4 days. I'm not
Red
kidding.
Mage doesn't need that. Red Mage's been getting buffed out the worst.
Happy seeing it. It was going to the other person.
I was watching. Yeah, it was.
What a greedy bitch.
I'm saying.
I hope you slapped him.
By the way, sorry, you go. No, finish. I wasn't sure if you were done.
Part is just like it didn't seem 50-50. It seemed like.
Oh, it's not 50-50. I could have told you that. It's based on your like proximity to the center point plus plus server ticks. Like which one of you server ticks sooner than the other one.
You can set and you can kind of bait it so that it'll kind of work like 90% of the time.
So I tried like running into the center of the AoEs. I tried moving to like reset my position. I tried standing perfectly still, and this dude was still getting it.
Sounds like he just had better latency than you.
Yeah, he's just better.
What a bitch.
I know.
Wow.
What a bitch. So yeah, they've been talking about this in chat for the last 15-20 minutes, by the way. So the reason Samurai can backflip away in that phase and Dragoon and Red Mage can't is because the Samurai kickback is 10 yalms.
Yeah, so it's 10 yalms.
And displacement and elusive are 15.
Okay.
So they've been talking about that for like 15-20 minutes, and I was waiting for us to get to the Omega discussion. And then it's just, I keep seeing it, and they're like, Happy, bring it up, please.
That's pretty tight, actually. I like we get use out of that on 10 and 11. I don't know how much I'll get to use it in 12.
Since we're talking about it here, I mean, the frustrating thing with displacement, right, is that it's got the DPS attached to it, unlike elusive jump. That's the problem with it. I had someone suggesting the other day that maybe a way to mitigate that would be to remove the movement from it when you use it with Swiftcast. So that like at least once every now and then you could negate it.
Just don't want. Just
what?
Like
you think it'd be better just don't use displacement?
Wait, Swiftcast or Surecast? Please tell me.
Surecast.
Okay, I was like, why would I Swiftcast a backflip?
No. I meant Surecast. I misspoke.
Hold on, I'm gonna cast this spell fast.
So you're saying you could use Surecast to not fly backwards?
Yeah.
Like double weave it?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of sick, actually.
I just imagine Swift casting displacement. You don't even do the backflip; you just teleport. It just cuts out the whole animation.
No, I misspoke. Right, but that would, I mean, it wouldn't fix it. Like, there's I think 3 or 4 uses of displacement in that one little phase where you kind of can't use it.
You know what would fix it? Remember when they got rid of potency on
repelling
shot?
Get rid of potency on it. That's true. It would.
The whole point of them getting rid of potency on repelling shot was so bards wouldn't kill themselves fishing for DPS. Then they're like, hey, samurai. Hey, red mage, you guys are new here. Yeah, you get the old shit.
See, for samurai, it's not actually good to use though, so I don't use it unless I absolutely have to and the stars align. But for red mage, you're on cooldown. That's
you have to use it on cooldown when you're using DPS.
Yeah, right. It's different for Sam.
They expect that to change. Yeah, for you guys, it's a pretty big hit. Because Kenki is a precious Shinten resource.
As
far as I'm concerned.
This is true.
It's not Ethys. Slyh, you're learning, don't use elusive jump. What you've learned now is do not use elusive jump when you're fighting a level checker. Don't, because I don't see
why you would.
Well, I know what, the first time our Dragoon tried to use it. I haven't
seen anywhere in there, like, even though I've seen it, I haven't seen anywhere where I would.
Well, the first time our Dragoon, and I think our Red Mage did the same thing, they tried to use it, is they had the opposite tethers. So they're like, well, if I'm going to get pulled towards, Red Mage, like, I'll finish my melee combo, then displacement right before I get pulled in. Dragoon, I'll elusive right before I get pulled in. And then they were like,
you could do that if you did it like diagonally.
No, like you could do it with elusive. You couldn't do it with display because displacement.
No, you couldn't do it at all with displacement. Yeah. No, not worth. Just hit sprint.
Yeah.
Hit sprint.
Yeah. So there's.
Even when I'm progging anyway, I don't like to risk it that way anyway.
Yeah.
I've seen your openers occasionally, Slyh. I've seen what can happen with elusive jump if there's no wall.
Oh no!
That was one time. It was a fucking mistake. I was turned the wrong way.
Our Dragoon did it in 012.
I don't use it. That's why I don't use elusive in my opener. I just walk it in.
our Dragoon did it in 012 last week at some point. He's just like, "Fuck," and we looked at our party list. He was dead.
Just right off the platform.
He was like, we were talking. I didn't know we were pulling, so I just didn't turn.
That's when it usually happens. It's like, okay, who pulled? What the fuck? I can't do. Okay, thanks. I'm facing the right way and shit. Yeah, that's when it happens.
Yeah, because you need that enmity cut before you've hit the boss.
Yeah, it's super useful. Yeah.
Right. And we absolutely have this button that I actually use now.
What, you don't use elusive in other places?
No, I do. I use it for mechanics. Elusive is like I have like for movement and shit. Absolutely, I end up having to use it more to cut, even though I'm using what should we call it?
Diversion.
That's the party finder tanks right there, Slyh. That's what that.
Yeah. Really? So you open with diversion, you still need to use elusive jump.
I eventually, because I use diversion on cooldown anyway to make sure. But even still, there are parties I'm with that tanks die often, and I have to get rid of it.
That makes sense. Like if you're doing Midgard Storm and you lose both tanks to something stupid, okay, that I get. Even though you're like the tankiest person that should probably be taking the hits, but I get.
Yeah, but you don't want to. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, right. Fuck that.
Give it to the Y mage. Fuck it.
Yeah, no thanks. You know how many times our bard wished they had diversion on 012 because they would burst at the start, be second on aggro without a provoke, and then they would just get fucking targeted by the laser. That's an interesting one we'll get to talk about. Yeah, I don't know, with 011, I could honestly just talk about 011 for 2 hours because I think it's brilliantly designed compared to most of the other Delta, Alpha, and Sigmascape bosses. It's just flows. Just flows like a real encounter.
Yeah, it's so satisfying.
And it fixes a problem. So second coil had the issue where they actually did this back in first and second coil where like every percentage it was like, okay, here's something completely different. But with Omega, it's not. It's the same thing, just done. He does it better the later the fight goes. That's what I love about it. So yeah, that's why I think it's the best.
I don't think he is like actively evolving over the fight. I think it's more that he's like testing our limits and he's trying to push us.
Well, if you read the chat bubbles, I remember second Pantocrator in particular, he talks about how he's loading all remaining armaments into his final attack.
He's like removing his own kind of restrictions. Like he sort of kicks it up a notch, and like removes like safeguards and stuff. And then the second Pantocrator is like, all right, I'm just going all out. Like fuck you.
It's also
everything he does.
Playtime's
everything
over.
He does like within the text bubbles, it kind of feels reactionary instead. It's not like it does feel like he's evolved, but at the same time, it's more of like, oh, this is happening.
He evolves after the fight. Like he's not evolving during the fight. The change that he makes after the fight is due to the data that he collects. That's the evolution there.
And this is where I feel like this is what I would have liked from Omega. Like I never felt like Omega was evolving the whole way up. He was just waiting to get to you, and then it's like his story actually began. Like at the very end. Mm-hmm. That's what I didn't like. But the fight, this is what I wanted from Omega. I wanted to see this earlier. I would have liked to have been fighting Omega in actually like all the raid tiers at some point, and seeing him like test our limits as he goes. Not like as the last boss every time, but like, you know, portions of Omega's power in a sense as we're working. That would have felt a lot realer to me.
So you would have wanted that every tier?
Yeah, like one, like not the beetle form, but like some form of Omega here and some form, like him actually encountering us and then evolving from there.
Well, that's kind of more like what Alexander was like, right?
No, Alexander was a stupid fucking goblin who had a codex and he kept turning back time every time he tried to fuck his shit up.
Yeah, but we're fighting.
You kind of get tired of it.
Alexander wanted us to win. He's like, listen.
Yeah. But so many of the Magitek things that we fight in Alexander are like bits of Alexander. And then we're fighting more sophisticated bits of Alexander. That's the comparison I'm making. Like you would have liked Omega to be like, all right, you're gonna fight like a Omega Light and see how you go against that.
Omega Delta, Omega Sigma, Omega.
yeah, right.
There you go. I would have preferred that because this is the only part of the raid where I felt like it was real. And going back to the discussion we had Savage story-wise, this did feel like story-wise, this is what I would have. This is Omega. Like this, when I think of Omega and Final Fantasy as a franchise, this is kind of the minimum expectation I guess I hold of him.
I think MIDI did it for me as well, but that's because we got a context for it. The other ones were like, okay, here's a simulation. It may or may not be real. It may or may not be from history. It may or may not be fictional. It might be from another world. It might be from another shard. Who knows? Who cares? Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Whereas Midgard Zorma, it's like, okay, so this is the first time Omega fought Midgard Zorma, and it was in this place, in this context, and he was at this sort of power level, and here's what happened, here's how it played out. It felt like there were actual, stakes attached to it. It felt like there was a clear context, and it kind of added a lot to the impact of the fight rather than just being this arbitrary, thing. This
hologram that's just made from a legend.
Yeah.
It wasn't based on it wasn't based on anything we'd seen that was tangible. Yeah,
like pretty much all the other fights. I mean, you can have a look at the other fight. Like you can look at Xande and you can sort of, find some evidence here and there that it's like a legendary, sort of mythical Chinese whispers version of Xande. And the same with Kifca and Amon is possible, but it's not like, it's super vague and it just feels like disconnected from everything.
This didn't for me, and I feel like Savage really brought that full circle for me. It felt like Omega, like it didn't feel like a half-assed concoction like normal mode did with stupid duty action. Sorry, don't like those duty actions.
I think it made sense how they did it with Omega, and I think it would have been cool to fight him in the earlier tiers, but I think it made sense in their own way, the way they did it with him waiting until the end, because in order for him to like start fighting and taking the time to analyze and evaluate and try to take on the traits of something, he had to know we were good or else he would have just fought the other things. Right?
It'd be really pathetic if he fought his other creations and he was just like, I kind of made these, so just flicks them away real quick. That whole tournament was for us. Ultimately, it wasn't for his creations. Were never going to be his combatants at the end. It was all for us. He just needed to know which ones were the best suited for us to fight.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That was the whole point.
Yeah, it worked. I was so elated with this experience. I wish I had that earlier. That's all. I just want to capture that at an earlier point. And then after 11, after the wonderful, by the way, credit's due. The sound effects on Omega also made that fight incredible. The sound design on Omega and the visual design of the Pantocrator is a whole nother level. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. Then we come to 012. And this was interesting, to say the least. I was not ready for O12. Savage.
Okay.
In particular. I wasn't ready for an 8-minute Faust followed by the fucking weirdest looking Omega I've ever seen. Straight out of Final Fantasy.
Really that weird though?
It's like straight out of Final Fantasy 13 or some shit.
Can I ask a question? I still haven't watched the transition yet. I've only seen pictures of Omega Final or Omega F or whatever. How do you rate his transition to God Kefka's and Neo X-Death?
I actually didn't like God Kefka's transition. It was loyal to the original, but Neo X-Death was fucking great. I love Neo X-Death's transition.
Okay, so we're on the same page with the first two.
Yeah.
So how's this third one?
The third one's, I think it falls somewhere in the middle. It's the way everything transforms, and I guess what Omega is saying while it's happening is, again, why I wish this was kind of the actual canon version of it, or the more canon version of it, because it matters a lot more, this transformation, I guess. It's not just some formulated data like Neo X-Death and God Kefka were. The arena change is cool, but the actual transformation, the song is epic, the sound effect is epic, but then you see the final result and you're just like, what the fuck is that? Everyone's like, it's Omega Weapon, and I'm like, just because he's on 4 legs, just because he's a quadruped, more so like Final Fantasy VIII, that's not Omega. That's a Fal'Cie right there. That's what that is. He's got arms and a halo and shit. He's all over the place.
Weird.
It's still I think the music in this, if you don't have sound effects turned on for this raid tier, you're missing out, because like even just in the transition, the sound effect, I think the feel the same way about Neo X-Death though. When you hear him punching the void,
you hear the grass or the glass crack.
Yeah. Like it really does. Not on Kefka. On Kefka, all you hear is the fucking tower collapsing, and no one gives a shit. It was dope though. I was reading what he was saying, and then halfway through the sentence, I looked at the arena and I was like, "What? What the fuck is this?" And then he shows up, and I'm like, "Yeah, what the fuck is that?" It's pretty cool.
Cool. I can't wait then. I can't wait.
But first we have
Omega M and F.
Omega M and F, who are they could have been their own raid tier.
That's what I keep saying. They could have been their own fight, just stand alone. I was not expecting the amount of mechanic jumble that you get from start. Well, I haven't been to finish, but from start to however you go through.
But that's how the gatekeepers have been for all the final fights. They've just been like mechanic vomits, haven't they?
This feels like more.
It's next level.
Yeah,
interesting.
To me,
okay.
Maybe it's because I'm still new, but it. But it's like you said, it's more.
I mean, it is longer.
Yeah, it's because of it's an 8-minute. Like that's as long, if not longer, than the first fight of the raid tier. Like once you've got some gear and you go through it.
So if this was X-Death, I would have already beat him. Let's say that. But it's not. It's longer, so I haven't beaten it yet because I'm just not that far through.
Okay.
It's almost twice the length of X-Death. It's like bordering on twice the length. That's why. And it's not on its own, it's not a bad fight. I wouldn't say definitely doesn't feel final fight worthy. I wouldn't go that far. I still feel like 011 technically feels like the best final fight, even among both forms of 012. But this was an impressive showcase of doing 2 bosses at once, which is as close as I feel we'll ever get to like a council fight outside of A8.
Have they ever done that before?
A8 has A8 and A8 Savage have a lot of targets. A8 Savage is as close as you get to feeling like a council, because you start with 2, then the set one of them spawns a clone, then the third one drops, and as the third one's dropped, you're killing the first one, then the fourth one drops, so you have 3.
Whoa.
Yeah. A8 Savage is probably the best instance of them doing it, but this was really good for what felt like it was a whole fight designed around these 2 beings being on the field at once. Because that's not how the majority of A8 goes. So, and it's pretty elementary at the start too. They literally give you the first 2 minutes just to see the most basic things. What does Omega M do? What does Omega F do? So you go through those pretty quick and you feel real good about yourself. And then it stops. And then it comes to an abrupt halt as soon as they separate. And you're just like, okay, so this resonance thing, okay, we got to, okay, now they're charging it, everyone. Okay, now we're all, oh, what's the eye doing? Okay, yeah. And how come he died, but how come I live? Yo, we got hit by the eye.
What's this about resonance?
It's the name of one of their skills.
Does Omega have the resonant?
It's resonance.
Resonant.
Like NANCE, not resonant.
Yeah.
Plural. So shut up. That's it.
Are you going to take that Ethys? Really?
Is that a Skywalker shirt? Who's that? I see. All right, there you go. Yeah.
Skywalker and Sons service and repair.
There you go. I was just changing the subject.
Yeah. Well done. That's right. Good.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I'm just gonna take my lore theories somewhere else. Don't worry about it. Go on. No, go on.
Yeah,
go
no,
on
just all right. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. All right. Yeah. It's okay. The Raiders are talking now. It's okay. It's all right. That was what chat said. I took that out of chat.
Excuse me.
I took that out of chat. I took that from Kunotron right here. It's all right.
Oh my god. Terrible.
Worth it. Anyway, this was really impressive to me. The big thing here was it's a lot of coordination. It's Kefka-esque coordination, but it's a bit more potent, I'd say, because it's just more cryptic. I'd say that's the big thing. When you first see all those markers, there's nothing to indicate it's a distance-based mechanic. With resonance, trying to figure out if there's any sort of normality to it, working out how to do the mechanic properly, like A11, but on half the arena, getting all the distance right, getting the healing right. And I think healers really deserve credit in this fight more so than any of the other fights we've had so far, because from this point on, the healer life was, I think, just from seeing it, was a nightmare. Imagine having your group split up and you're the healer on one of them and you're like, well, I kind of want to go to the middle and hit everybody, but at the same time, I'm not going to run all the fucking way over there because I just did the dashing mechanic, and then it can all be shit or it can all be just fine. Just depends on the individual run. What are you typing over there at this?
No, I just want to look at the fight now. So for resonance, is there? Shut up. There's no AOE markers, right?
Basically, they get surrounded by a field, and then they either have a tether or they don't, and that's where you gotta. There's an awkward distance where they'll have a tether regardless of what the debuff is. So if they're too close, then it's better to have them too close or too far than to have them somewhere in the middle, because then they'll tether no matter what, and then you have to read the debuff to get it right.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I can tell you this: they're not seeing the flashbacks of the Warrior of Light's previous encounters. I can also tell you this: Omega's soul.
Listen, I'll get there, all right.
Yo, maybe that's how Alpha gets his soul with the resonant, right? Is that what you're looking for?
No, not necessarily.
I'm just helping you out here, man. You wanted
I'm just thinking. So Omega is trying to like simulate us. He's trying to become more like us because he thinks that's like the way to go, right? It's a sort of simulate an anima, simulate a human form. I was wondering if like maybe he doesn't have the ability to give himself the echo.
I don't think he does, because our version of the echo is not. I don't think our version of the echo is I'm gonna tether to you. Kind of is, I guess, mentally speaking.
Well,
figuratively. Now I'm diving. We're talking about this too much. I'm taking this too seriously now.
No, it's all right. We'll come back around to this in a couple of weeks.
You mean after we ask Koji at FanFest?
Yeah, exactly.
Second lore book. Got it. Yeah. How far have you seen, Fahros?
I've been to after the charges you were just talking about, which let me just say before I move past that's the kind of thing that makes me wish I had a static, because how you're saying that it's like not obvious that they're proximity based or distance based. I think it would be so funny to like try to figure that out day one, where nobody knows the answer yet, and you're just dying to it, and you're wondering, I had 3 blue squares over my head, but I just died.
Yeah, you start. The thing is, day one, we were trying all sorts of fucked patterns.
I bet.
And then we'd just all die because we weren't far enough. And we're just like, what the And then we were like, maybe one from this has to intercept one from, or two from the next, and one from this has to intercept. We're just like, what the fuck is going on? And then all of a sudden, one person is halfway across the arena and lives, and they go, oh, it's distance.
Okay.
That's literally how it happens at some point.
That seemed awesome. But I've been to there. I love doing that mechanic. I think it's super fun. And right afterwards, it reminds me of Guardian a little bit, where you can get a fork, and what mechanic you get.
So you're talking about synthetic shield versus synthetic blades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm figuring out both those sets, and I imagine you get both by the end.
It's at that point it's like Chaos, where you see the fight kind of twice in a row, and this is where it kind of devolves from 011. Where in 011, it's like I said, the fight just progresses the whole way, and everything you learn kind of carries to the next thing. It's true here, but it's true in a different way, because you do synthetic shield or you do synthetic blade, then you do the charges again, then you do the other one.
Right. Okay.
So it's just you basically see the next 3 minutes of the fight in that minute and a half, and you just have to be able to do them both.
Gotcha.
So it's smart for the same reason Chaos is, but it's not as impressive to me like Omega is. Pretty much. And then
would you expect it to be? I mean, it's just a Faust.
Yeah, it's a pretty important Faust.
It's one hell of a
Faust. It's one hell of a Faust. True. Yeah. And you don't expect Omega to step back in his ways.
No.
You know, you kind of expect Omega to keep going that way, but you know what? This is what we're used to. Maybe that's what he thought we'd do. You always have to think. He thinks this is what we would do. That's it. He thinks just like, well, if it didn't work the first time, just do it. Just swap it around. See if it works this time. That's how progression goes. You know?
Yeah.
Now, funny thing is, I saw a video of this yesterday, and I'm beginning to really think we need LB3 changes going into the next expansion.
How come?
Oh.
So Tank LB3, I'm sure you're well aware, is a popular strategy for 011 Savage for the Red Fist. We did it on... Yeah.
Makes it where you
it's about to become a real popular strategy on 012 Savage.
Oh, why's
on
that?
The Gatekeeper or on Final?
On the Gatekeeper.
Okay.
So there's after you do both Synthetic Blade and Synthetic Shield, they start LB spamming you. They hit you with like they do this in normal mode too. They hit you with Caster LB, Bard LB, Melee LB2. They do all that. So what you're supposed to do is a tank's supposed to run away from the group with the G100 looking marker, and the other one's supposed to face the Bard LB away. No, just tank LB3. Fuck it, don't run away. And not only now that wouldn't be so bad if you didn't then get a full LB3 back from all the mitigation.
No way.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's gotta be nerfed.
Yeah, let me find the video. I posted it in my Discord because somebody linked it.
It's kind of broken, eh?
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. I saw it and I was just like, wait a minute. So you could do it twice. You could do it both times.
There's literally no reason not to. If you get
because you get, and then when you do it the second time, you just get a melee LB3 anyway. So it's
wow.
Hold on,
you have to do it.
You have to do it. There's the here. I'm gonna pull the video up on the screen. I'm also gonna give it to you guys because this was from Twitter user Kentako5544. I'm gonna share it in the chat. I'm gonna share it with you guys here in Zoom in the chat here. And then I'm gonna pull it up on the screen. I couldn't believe it. You gotta see it to believe it. It's unbelievable. Hold on, let me get this on the screen. All right, let's see. So we got that. All right, so I'm just gonna mute it. But so okay, they have LB3 here.
Sit on it.
It's look at this. They have LB3 here. Look at this. Look at this. Oh no, don't worry. Just tank LB3 it. What's that? Oh, actually they got 2 bars of LB and then the AoE that hits them after gives them the rest of it. And
they're gonna take LB again?
Oh, look at that! I have LB3 again. Whoop de fucking do.
That is so dumb.
They just get it back again.
That is so
oh
dumb.
my god, it's like I love it, but that's okay. Like, so I like the ultimatum. Like, we do the ultimatum tank invincible strat. But the reason this video is a minute and a half is because we're about to see them do it again. Not only that, it's like, wait a minute, they do this twice this fight.
That is so stupid.
Can we do this twice this fight?
Why not?
You know what? I think we can do it twice this fight. Why? Oh, look at that. I have 2.5 LB bars again. What do you know? Oh, you know what, though? You know what would be great is if I could get another LB3. You think I can get another one? I think I can get another one.
Just one more real quick.
Just one more real quick. And then, you know what?
Oh, there it is. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'm glad. I don't even think they used it. They didn't even use the last LB3. They just killed it without it.
Yeah, they kill it without.
Oh, and then they don't. And then to add insult to injury, they don't even use it.
They don't even use it. Man.
Don't even need it.
So that's the entire part. After you're done with synthetic shield and blades, that's it.
God.
That's
wow.
So
I thought the one in 11S was cheesy. Like, we did that the other night, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? This is so cheesy."
Yeah, I mean, the thing about we've been using LB3 cheese for
we've never. This is probably the biggest offender of LB3.
That's the worst. That is the worst I've ever seen. Period.
Yeah.
They used it twice, and they still got another one they didn't even use.
That's dirty. Because when they do something like an ultimate, like clearly that's intended, you do 4 LBs. I think that's exciting. In other fights, you can do an LB to like skip a phase maybe, or just to meet a check. I think that's exciting. This doesn't look intended. That's
just dirty. Yeah.
That's dirty. You're just outright cheesing a cluster of mechanics. There's a proximity flare plus the LBs, and you're just like, fuck it.
Just ignore all of it.
F1. Done.
That's incredible. I can tell you how I'm doing that fight this week.
Yeah, right.
I can tell you how it's going in my guide. I'm not telling people to do that normally. Unless you have to use like a healer LB when you're progging. Then go ahead, try to do it. But in that case, it's in 011, people just give up if you don't have a tank LB3 by the time you get to the red fists in the party finder. No one wants to do that shit normally.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
So which would you find to be worse? Skipping mechanics or LB3 cheats?
That might as well be skipping.
That is skipping mechanics.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's I don't think it's on the level of like Lapis, skipping Lapis or shit like that. I mean,
but you could use it and you could never even find out what those mechanics do or how you're supposed to handle them. Doesn't matter.
True.
I think because it's the way it is, I'm perfectly fine with it working. If I didn't want it to work that way, I wouldn't have done it in Omega in 011. So clearly I was okay with it. I just never it's like you use a product, right? And then you find out there's like something in that product that you just like, you see a documentary on how the product's made and now you don't want to use it anymore. This is the documentary on the product that makes you not want it to be that way anymore. It's like it took what we did in Byakuo, because Byakuo had the tank LB3 strats. 11 is tank LB3 strats.
Yeah. But Byakuo is Byakuo, you know, like
just trying to make that as tolerable as you can anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So I suspect we'll see some LB changes in the next expansion. Maybe.
Give it a cool down.
No, that's not going to be enough. It's going to have to be like, if it's going to save you from something like that, it's going to end up being like scripted that it saves you instead of it just being 90% damage mitigation. That's probably what they'll do. They even have a pop-up. In 011, it says it literally gives you a pop-up that tells you need the LB3. So
it tells you who to use it as well. It says a warrior needs a limit break.
Wait, what?
It literally says warrior. It's like a warrior would have to break his limit to survive this.
Yeah. That's not what they mean, but yeah, they do say that.
That's what it says. It literally says warrior.
Yeah, the biggest change would probably be just so that LB3 doesn't give you LB back. Like if you survive with tank LB3, that'd probably be the one thing. You'd still use it once, but you wouldn't use it twice and then throw away the second one.
That seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, that's probably what they'll do. And then after you beat those two, because now you just blow through the last part of the fight, then you come to just Omega. It goes just back to Omega. He doesn't have a fancy name or anything. He's just everyone calls him Omega Prime or Omega God. I like Omega God because it's like his minion, OMG.
Yeah.
I like it.
Omega.
Works out. Yeah. But OMG, it's like
OMG.
Yeah, little OMG. And this was great to figure out, but I agree with Yoshi P's statement he made regarding how this and the rest of the tier was designed, and it's in line with what Ethys said. It's great to figure out blind, and then after that, it's not really any different than the rest of Savage. Yoshi P himself said it was designed that way to make progression more fun, specifically. And by God, was I grateful for that. Because this was
said that? Or
yeah,
they did?
No, he said that's what their goal was to emulate progression for Uwu, where it was like really cryptic.
Yeah.
But then after it, once you know, it should be Savage difficulty.
Okay. Yeah, and they basically nailed that, right?
I think they did. It was really satisfying to prog this fight because it was so much like, what the fuck do I do? It's like, you've got a red one, you've got a blue one, you've got a pink one. Now you have the pink one. Now that one passed to you. Now that one you got again. How'd you get it again? That guy just died. He didn't die. It was just like...
That's an Omega Prime?
Yeah. That's a wonderful...
The funny thing is, I've seen you do this, and you're making it sound way more...
Because this is how it was to figure
look easy,
out.
But the way you're making it sound right now is like complicated as fuck.
This is how it was in our minds when we were trying to figure it out. Versus now that we know how to do it, it looks like, oh, you just do that. Cool.
Huh.
Like, people down the line are just going to struggle to, like, memorize what they're supposed to do when they get a specific debuff. And then after that, you just replicate it. There's no, like, on-the-fly decisions that need to be made. It's just literally from point A to B to C to D, phase done.
You know, I'm glad Yoshi P said that, because that tells me he's thinking about how to make it as challenging as possible for the player base. But what else can they really do? I mean, because they can crank up the difficulty to the point of ultimate or something, right? But like outside of that, so we're assuming Savage is where they want it then, as far as how many people are completing it, how many people are active in raiding, how many people are seeing the content. What else can they really do to make it more engaging? But besides like try to hide things, make things sneaky, make things cryptic, as you put it.
Make better duty actions.
Well, you said you hate them.
Yeah, but I said that I just don't like them because I don't think they're
right. Yeah, they need better ones. Yeah,
so better duty actions. There you go.
When you were talking about that earlier, I was thinking of a fight with like destructible platforms, maybe where you had to use a duty action to like jump or leap to another platform.
I have a jump. I would be pissed if I got a fucking duty action button that was jump. Dragoons have it. I have a space bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
If one duty action, why not two duty actions?
Why not jumping puzzles?
Because that's a thing.
Yo, man, that MGP is...
No, I meant in Savage. I've had a couple people
say, I'll do it. Just listen.
Cool. That'd be great.
Yeah, all 8 people have to do it or you fail. Listen, there's a reason they didn't even trust us with the desert in 03 Savage. They took out the desert pass.
When we saw that in Norman, I was like, "Oh fuck, no, please!"
Because he started imagining there was going to be like ant lions that'll kill you if you took the wrong path.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, "No, please." Why you fuck me like this?
Make it fun. At least.
Why you shit on?
Where's Construct 7 Ultimate? Construct 7 Squared. And now he's right before you enter the fight. There's a fucking little machine that's got PEMDAS on it. There you go. That's it. Like,
I mean, if it works the same way as Construct 7, well, no, it's not even the same numbers, is it?
No, the numbers will be like 4, 9, 15, and 21, and it'll be like what's 8 times 9 divided by the square root of 9.
Everyone dies instantly.
Yeah, everyone's just like,
all right, just go ahead and wipe it.
Have a grid system for the coordinates of the whole field. Make you do quadratics.
Can make you do quadratics. Ask you to round to the nearest whole number. Then there has to be a machine that defines. Remember, if it's a 5 or up, you round up. Oh my god.
In Rage makes you divide by 0.
Construct 69, so you know you're fucked. There you go.
Duty action's a calculator.
I get it. It's a
Nice.
sex thing.
Nice.
It's a sex thing. I get it. Good job. Now divide
Well done. Well played.
Divide 69. Now then he asks you to divide 69 by 3. And then you gotta step on that one. Just show it in Roman numerals, it'll be no problem. The Magia board while doing Savage. No. Okay, kill me. Anyway, yeah. 012 you guys are gonna like when you get to it. 012 Savage, you're gonna have a lot of fun progressing it, and then after you're done, you'll understand. You'll understand what I mean by it just feels like another Savage fight after you fully complete it and understand it.
So I've heard a few things about. I've heard this throughout the expansion, and I never understood it, but I'll ask it now anyway, even though I think it's a silly question, and I've never understood it, like I said. But do you think, because I've heard this, do you think the Gatekeeper's harder than Omega Final? Or do you think, because you're making it sound like, you'll understand it, and you talked a lot about the Gatekeeper. Like, oh, it's so cool, there's all this stuff, da-da-da-da-da.
Have you already forgotten what we just saw? Like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, maybe if you had asked me before this morning, I may have had. Now the problem is, now I'm thinking about how to tank LB3 through 012 set.
Yeah, the final.
I don't. It's not the same. The way 012 is when you screw things up in 012, it goes pretty sour. So
Okay.
like Hello World will endlessly chain and kill you if you tank LB3 it.
So it feels like a final fight. You're happy with the difficulty, even though at the end of the day it'll feel like a Savage. Which is what it should.
Yeah, it's just there's about, I would say about 48. After the problem with this is you're 48% into the fight with 012 and you've seen everything. It's like Chaos, and for a final fight, it's just not as satisfying.
Oh,
yeah. But the first 48% was great to figure out, and then doing it properly the second half while optimizing DPS with less
it would
gear.
have been satisfying.
Yeah, that was still satisfying, but it's not like 011 where you do the start, then you do level checker, then you do the giant fist, then you do Pantocrator 1, then you do it doesn't do that.
Escalating.
It doesn't keep escalating. Yeah, the escalation stops halfway through
when
the
you
fight.
see Pantocrator 2 for the first time in 011S, you're like, oh my god, like what is this?
Freaked out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hello World 2 is crazy also. I mean, Hello World in general is really crazy. But it stops early in the fight. It's kind of like Neo Exdeath, yeah. It's like any of them. It's like after you see Forsaken 3 in God.
You're basically.
It's like after Grand Cross Omega. You know, there's that I'm gonna hit you over and over again at the end of the fight kind of thing, which they do in every fight. I mean, even 011 does it. It's 3 atomic rays before he does loop. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty similar. It's still a great fight, but that's another reason why 011 sits at the top for me. Is because 012 just wasn't better than it for me. What's up, Slyh?
Important question.
Okay.
Fahros, you're going through it right now. Let me ask you first. What's the level of faith you have in Pugs right now?
With Tank LB3s, I got a lot more faith.
I mean, now, obviously.
Yeah.
it's just a matter of population and time. So I think it's just going to be like any other tier where the Pugs are going to slay this on farm every week, but it's going to take a few weeks. I think I'll probably kill, now that I've seen this Tank LB thing, I'll probably kill that this week, and I'll probably kill Omega Final. I don't know how long that'll take me because I don't want to speak on that. I would guess another 1 or 2 weeks. But I have faith, man. I think it comes down to the party leader. I say this a lot on my stream, but I think it comes down to the party leader, how he carries himself, how he leads the group. Because the worst thing that happens is when you get into a party and he says, so how do you guys want to do this? And then everybody starts chiming in. This guy's got a strat. This guy's got a strat. Well, that guy's friend cleared ultimate, and he knows the real way to do it. And everybody chimes in.
You need someone to take responsibility.
I have no faith in those parties. I don't think they're ever going to kill him unless they're 20 item levels over. But for right now, I think there's really good players in the Party Finder, man. I've seen people in the Party Finder that are on alts from statics and are in some of the best statics I know. So I got a lot of faith. It's just a matter of who takes charge and who you're lucky enough to run into.
And
Don't worry, I'll have a guide out
cleared
for
it.
12 Savage soon.
Yeah, and the guides. Okay, so let me give a lot of credit to the guide makers because they make.
No, don't, because the people who've gotten through it already have had more meaningful discussions than the videos ever will. What's up, Slyh?
And Mike, as someone who's already cleared and everything, what do you think?
Think about what in particular? Again?
Pug success rate.
I think O10. I think O10's going to be the worst one to pug. By the time all is said and done, I think O10 and probably the charging phase of O12 will probably be the two worst ones to pug. I think Pantocrators 1 and 2 are, they're demanding, but they're not going to be. Honestly, I think what'll kill people more often than pugs in O11 is Flamethrower plus Fire AoE plus Fire Dot, where people just burn to death. I think that'll kill people in pugs more than Pantocrators will after some time, because that's not even a dance. That's just straight up mitigation and shit, and people always skimp on that in pugs, I feel. So yeah, I think O10's actually going to be the worst one to pug collectively. I mean, it'll take longer for people to get through 11 and 12, but I have the least faith in pugs for 10. I think by the time you're getting to people who are pugging 12,
right,
you're probably getting a better batch.
Yeah, there's a bit of a filtering process there, isn't there?
Yeah.
So
fair point.
It's not really, but it sort of is. That'll decline when it gets fully unlocked at some point. Yeah. Then all of a sudden that
totally
goes down. That goes down.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what I think. So Slyh, your biggest, as far as I'm concerned, beat O10 in the Party Finder. You're done for the raid tier, Slyh. You good? Just say that's it. You got that's the biggest wall in front of you. That's it. You're done. Fuck it. Don't do that. Beat the whole thing. But still.
I mean, yeah, obviously.
Go
but,
beat the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
With that, I think coming towards an end here. I've got a place I got someplace I got to be in 9 minutes, so we can probably start.
Right.
It's not. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. Listen, they ain't going nowhere without me. Right?
You don't take breaks, man.
I don't.
Listen. Just so everybody knows in the chat, I was the first one in this call. I got on call with him 30 minutes before the show. He's like, he's going. He's like, man, I just sat down, just got done grocery shopping. And he was streaming earlier today. This guy's been going all day. Thanks for the show, Happy. And for all you do.
Thanks, Fahros.
You're welcome.
Random outburst.
You don't take
yes,
breaks,
but believe it or not, I do need to grocery shop in order to survive.
What? You just don't have fresh leaves every day? What?
I got 9 of them per week. I don't eat 9 times a week. Look at me.
Look at me.
Look at me. I don't eat 9 times a week. What the fuck is that? All right. Okay. Anyway, with that, I think we can wrap up. So I'm gonna do my things first, like Patreon and everything. You guys sign off, and then 2-minute post show, and then I raid. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right.
A schedule. Let's go.
Yeah, there we go. Well, first off, I got to remind everyone, don't forget Steel Series has been sponsoring the podcast for quite some time. And there's free shit for you to win if you go to the YouTube video. All right?
Ooh.
All you literally go is you go to the description, there's a giveaway, you click it, you enter it, and every month I pull a winner. And you get something that's worth $79.99 USD or less of your choice sent to you. They ship to tons of countries, so there's very few people that probably can't enter. Just make sure you actually do the giveaway stuff. It's there. It's free shit. There's no reason not to enter. Thank you, Steel Series, for sponsoring. We also have other sponsors over on Le Patreon. Pharos' favorite thing to freak out about every time. Look at the smile on his
every time.
Look at the smile on his face.
Oh boy.
There you go.
I'm ready for this.
Chat, are you ready
for the
that?
reaction?
Yeah.
I'm ready
well,
for
the
the
cops
reaction.
are ready,
Let's go.
apparently. The cops are ready to arrest Pharos for too much energy. He's going to break his headset next at this point.
This is my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, everyone calls it the support rap. It's like the Pokemon song at this point. There you go. So we have our supporters over on Patreon who've been combating #demonetized for quite some time. And to start that off, we have our patron of light, Khuja Cross, on the Jenova server, who has gone above and beyond supporting us over on Patreon for quite some time now and provides very good screenshots that reminds me that I'm just a casual when it comes to the glamour endgame.
Oh, damn.
The true end game, I'm a fucking casual. That's all they remind me of every week. So thank you, Khuja, for supporting and for providing us good screenshots and not Lalafels and Supplicars like me. And then we have the rest of our supporters over on Patreon that are part of the State of the Realm tiers. We have the standard State of the Realm tier, and I got to find the bottom of the list. We got Senshi, Crimson and Talvia Swift of Coworld, Just One Fox, Shadowlink on the Tonberry server, Dom, Asuka Wake from Jenova, Lemilionella of Midgard's Armor, Serrha, and the Fennel family, Janhyua Yotsuyu, Kifca and the Great Eagles on Exodus, Dark Graver, Katayoshi from Khuja, Skia Symphonia from Ragnarok, Rah Xephon from Exodus, Rylanator, Westaus, the Purple Warrior, Eadric, Redsteele on Exodus, Lexxie Valentine, Mantaru the Rivivus FC from Zodiark, Sour Cream and Chives from Jenova, Rynoet Chikara, Lexxie Valentine of Serren, Hersh Fersh of Faerie, Phoenix Down FC on Goblin, and Serren from Zodiark. We then have our elite Stay of the Realm sponsors. We have Jonathan, we have Shinka, Casual Heroes FC on Midgard's Armor, Tatachitaka on Hyperion, Kana Izuki of the Jenova server, Starlon, Coral, Sothal, Sarah Frost from Behemoth, Diablo, Holy Tabasco, Red Thorn Asura, screwed that one up, Askin Hawk from Shiva, Crash 015, Mustang, Serenity FC on Ultras, Kakazuma, Serial Kira on Cactar, which I think is actually supposed to be... No, that's right. Ignis Farragon from Excalibur, that was the one I had to make sure was fixed, Valestra of Fanfrit, not Cordis from Excalibur, Crovus, Moonscar, Private Mikey, Spike, Nadia Kirasami, Rudy Rudiger, Tin Colossus, Killer Hackman, Roll Jr., and Killtastic Jones.
Wow. Wow. Second verse.
Sorry, at that point, all I can do is steal raps from other people.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the support.
No,
wow.
I was just really reacting to Fahros' reaction. I was really trying to hold it in. He was just going so ham with the expressions.
I saw a few these out of the corner of my eyes. That was about it.
I'm gonna have to buy some air horns or something. So next time I come on, I can play some air horns at it.
Just learn the actual lyrics to 011. then you can spit those after we're done. Like, oh shit, I didn't know it was a rap battle. I've been watching some Wildin' Out lately. All right, I'm picking some things up.
I'll do it.
There you go. I still have to have my rap battle against Layla. He never finished the rap. Him and Fold, unfortunately, were supposed to write a rap, and they never did. Yeah, pussies. I know. So,
wow. Okay.
they never did it. So that's it.
Right.
They bitched out.
Okay.
All right, now we're going to let our guests say goodbye, now that you've listened to me ramble on about the sport. So first we have Fahros, who was able to accommodate for a very last-minute ask, so thank you very much. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you at, good sir?
What's up, everybody? My name is Fahros. Thanks again for having me on Haps. It was an honor, Slyh and Ethys. I stream pretty much every day, twitch.tv/Fahros. You can find me on Twitter, @Fahros. I didn't forget this time, so I don't have to ask you as the other two guys sign out. It'd be a pleasure to see you guys. I play Final Fantasy pretty much every stream. We raid on Samurai. We do the Savages, the Ultimates, the Extremes, you name it. We play with viewers. We play with pugs. We get shit done. Would love to see you over there. Thanks for listening. Support this guy, Happy. He's the best. And hopefully I'll see you guys around. Peace.
Well, you know who else you can support? There's this smug little fuck over here called Ethys, whose face I just double-clicked. It's a good... At least you look good when you're smug.
Wow.
There's my compliment sandwich. Did you like that?
Wow.
That's okay. All right.
But you're the best smug face.
Oh, thank you.
You've been going ham at Ethys all episode.
I know.
What the hell?
He called himself a punching bag. I'm just making his dreams come true.
That's true. It's because your headset broke and I feel that you're.
I can't bully Slyh today. He's been dealing with Waffle House and broken headsets. Yeah. I can't. And like I said, Ethys punches back. I like his ferocity.
Thanks.
There you go.
I'm Ethys, guys. What's up? How you doing? It's me. I stream every day as well on Twitch. And very occasionally I do YouTube videos, and you can find me on the other social medias as Ethys Asher. Also, it's easy. You know who I am.
Damn.
Do you know who Slyh is?
You know who I am. Do you know who Slyh is? Slyh, why don't you tell them who you are?
I don't even know who I am. Hi, I'm Slyh.
I thought you didn't know.
I didn't. It somehow came to me. You can find me on twitch.tv/Slyakagreyfox, Twitter @Slythefox, youtube.com/thevelvetroom, Instagram @Slyakagreyfox07. I play way too many goddamn games, and I pretty much stream mostly every day. But just started Fist of the North Star today. Started Valkyria Chronicles 4 last week. There's a ton of shit. In the near future, I play too many goddamn games. There's too much stuff going on.
Okay.
That's
it.
That's it.
Okay.
Variety streamer.
You all know this Happy person, right? You know, That guy. Him.
No. Who is he,
Yeah.
Sly? Tell me more. What would you say are his top 3 qualities, Sly?
Now who's being smug?
Wow.
If he's smart, he'll say nothing, so that way it's a good comeback. But
no, I was trying to be nice, but no, fuck you. No,
see,
no, you get nothing.
What do you mean, fuck you? I was telling you to say fuck you to me.
I was trying to actually give a compliment and everything.
But I want you to insult me, Sly. I like it when you yell. It's okay.
You ruined it. I'm done.
All right, it's all right.
He's got a working.
Where can they
headset.
find you, Happy?
I do have a working headset. That's a pretty good thing. Yeah. Thanks, Ethys.
Okay.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
It was Ethys' idea. I'm going along with it. All right. I'm Mr. Happy. You can find me, Mr. Happy 127, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I make YouTube videos also occasionally, a bit more occasionally than Ethys, who's hiding behind his Namazu right now because I did this to him last week. You guys can't see it, but now you can see it. And yeah, he's been replaced at this point. So follow me on all those places. We're playing Maple Story 2 a lot this week. Dauntless's Austrian Repeaters come out this week. I'm probably going to end up missing the initial launch of Mega Man 11, unfortunately, because of all that. And yeah, then we have 14 stuff. Pogo's just got nerfed into the ground, so that's way easier now. So I'll probably finish that up before Pyros comes out sometime in the next month. And yeah, be on the lookout for videos on all that stuff. So thanks everyone for watching. We're going to go into a very short post show before my raid team shows up in the chat, which they're actually already here and waiting for me to say the show's over. And we will see you guys next week. Next week, Ethys, if I ask you to make a Zivia for next week, can it be arranged?
Yeah, I could do that.
We could.
Wait, what? Why not?
What happened?
Air Zivia next week.
I'll tell you what. If I do, you guys are got to promise me to do some homework. All right.
I've actually been doing it. I've been doing it every week actually.
I've been rewatching cutscenes and you're
No. I said I was going to, but now I'm already in the process of it. I'm like taking notes on Domin reconstruction stuff and main story stuff. I still expect to get fucked in the ass. But...
I just watch your VODs, Ethys. That's it.
Ooh, okay.
It's good study material.
Okay, that'll do it. Yeah. All right. Okay, fine. Ayo Zivia next week, folks.
All right, we get Ethys 3 times in a row. Never thought I'd be so fortunate. All right. Ooh. So anyway, we will see you guys for that embarrassment next week. And until then, take care. I did forget to do one thing, though. And Fahros, don't be upset with me.
Oh, no.
What?
You'll see on the screen. Here's what I'm going to do. Watch this. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to do all that from when I came back in. So here's what's going to happen. Here, watch. Let's see. Fahros. Oh, that's not the right one. Here, let's see.
Oh, I got owned! I'm not even on the screen, chat!
No.
Oh, no.
Here's what's gonna happen.
Rage emojis in the chat! Where am I?
Here, I'm making a Fahros too.
Don't even turn up, jeez.
Fahros at Fahros. There you go. Look, you guys, you get the best one, because now watch what I'm gonna do to fix all that. You guys ready? Hold on, I'm doing it. I'm giving it an outline real quick. Hold on. That way it's easier to read.
Chat's pissed, dude.
There you go. That's perfect. Look at that. You get the whole top of the screen.
Fahros, thanks, man.
There you go. You get the whole look. You're bigger than all of us combined.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much.
I even made sure it was Arial font with a 2-point black outline, just for you.
I dig that. Yeah. If you would have put it up there in like Comic Sans, I would have been pissed.
I can do that. Let's see.
Don't.
What is Comic Sans? Oh, here we go.
Everyone's gonna laugh at me, dude. I'm already like a meme because I play Samurai.
Look there's Comic Sans. I could put it.
Damn it!
I could put it in Wingdings.
Oh no!
Here. No, dude.
All right.
Oh
no! That's Fahros and Webdings. Not even Wingdings.
Oh no!
I like that. There's an ambulance in there. The ambulance is wrong. That should be an Ethys or Sly's because they're the Dragoons.
That's what I see in the party chat when I join parties.
I was like, so what strategy were you doing? And this is what they type out.
Oh, man.
There you go. No, Comic Sans was good. In Comic Sans, it's pronounced Fahros. There you go. It's back in Arial again.
All right. Thank you. I'm saved.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I'm gonna go raid now, gentlemen. So I'm
did we actually formally close out the show because there is this
all that's going in the outro. Every single thing is going in.
Okay,
That's all going on YouTube right there. That whole thing.